The Preah Khan temple complex, situated at the northern edge of the Angkor Archaeological Park in Cambodia, is one of the most significant buildings erected during the Khmer Empire. When it was discovered, Preah Khan was mostly in ruins, overgrown by the jungle. Given the swath of trees and greenery wrapping around the temple structures, restoring the temple required a great deal of caution. Up until today, the temple is still left how it was originally found, giving visitors a feeling of discovering a hidden temple in the jungle. In the entrance area, you will find decorative milestone on the western roadway. The niche featured motifs of Amitabha, meditating Buddha, that were hammered by Hindu fanatics in the 13th century. Unfortunately, most of them are beheaded. The base is decorated with carotid figures with the head of a lion. Preah Khan is located in a hot tropical area rich in flora and fauna. Many birds, monkeys and other animal species are common in the area. Visitors can also enjoy the many lush plants and trees that envelop the area. We were lucky enough to encounter this large family of 9 otters at the western entrance near the moat. They hurried back in the moat when I tried to get a closer look at them. The temple was built during the reign of Jayavarman VII and was dedicated to the Buddhist worship of Mahayana. It was inaugurated in 1191 AD. Preah Khan means sacred sword. Its original name is Capital of Victory, as it is built on the site of the victorious battle of the Khmers against the Chams. Preah Khan's outer boundaries are defined by a protective moat and fortified walls of laterite, adorned by 72 giant garudas at 50-meter intervals, carved in stone, half-man, half-bird creatures from Hindu mythology and known to be the mounts of the god Vishnu. King Jayavarman VII dedicated the construction of this temple to the memory of his father, as well as a central statue, which, like his mother at Ta Prohm, was to honor the ancients. The temple's foundation stone, stela, has provided considerable information about the history and administration of the site, and its role as a center for worship and learning. Originally located within the first eastern enclosure, this stela is now housed safely at Angkor Conservation in Siem Reap. The stela inscription also notes that there were 97,840 attendants and servants, including 1,000 dancers and 1,000 teachers. Approaching from the west, there is little clue to nature's genius, but on the outer retaining wall of the east gate is a pair of trees with monstrous roots embracing, one still reaching for the sky. The western entrance gate or Gopura has 2 gigantic stone guardian Dwarapalas. This photo, taken in 1942, shows that the heads are intact, so they must probably have been beheaded either during the occupation of the Japanese during the Second World War or vandalized during the Khmer Rouge reign in the 1970s. The initial clearing was from 1927 to 1932. Since the restoration by the French in 1939, freestanding statues have been removed for safekeeping, and there has been further consolidation and restoration work. Throughout, the conservators have attempted to balance restoration and maintenance of the wild condition in which the temple was discovered. Even today, the temple is still largely unrestored. The temple complex is rectangular in shape and spans over 2 square kilometers, connected to many smaller buildings by featuring an intricate network of entryways, corridors, galleries, towers, ceremonial spaces, shrines and courtyards. This layout reflects the influence of both Hindu and Buddhist ideologies, showcasing a harmonious blend of religious and cultural traditions. The Temple of Preah Khan is one of the largest complexes at Angkor, a maze of vaulted corridors, fine carvings, and lichen-clad stonework. It is a good counterpoint to Ta Prohm and generally sees slightly fewer visitors. The first enclosure is choked with ruinous buildings. The enclosure is divided into 4 parts by a cruciform gallery, each part almost filled by these later irregular additions. The walls of most galleries and the interior of the central sanctuary are covered with holes that some believe are for the fixing of bronze plates, while corrosion from metal pins can be seen on the outer walls. The inner sanctuary holes have traces of stucco. Inside the central sanctuary, at the very center of the temple, is a stupa that is debatable as to whether it was the original object of worship in the temple, perhaps replacing a statue of Lokeshvara, or whether it was added under a later king in the 13th century, or even later in the post-Angkorian period. Being an object related to Theravada Buddhism and quite similar to those seen in Sri Lanka, some consider it may have been added post-Jayavarman VII at least. One of the most striking features of Preah Khan Temple is its impressive walls, adorned with intricately carved stone motifs. These walls served as symbolic thresholds, separating the sacred space from the outside world. In the 13th century, when one of the prominent kings of the Khmer Empire, King Jayavarman VIII, was in power, he reverted to Hinduism and destroyed numerous representations of Buddha. Statues and reliefs were destroyed, either by simply being vandalized or remodeled. Many of the altered statues, carved from sandstone, have survived to this day. For example, representation of deities and animals can be found on walls and buildings. You need a guide to get the best out of your visit to this temple. Additional special features of Preah Khan include the once bronze-plated stupa called Sanctum Sanctorum, its hall of dancers, and its 2-story pavilion. This curious Grecian-style 2-story structure in the temple grounds is a unique structure known for its round columns and its roof that is now collapsed. Its exact purpose is debated, with theories suggesting that it was a library, a granary, or the location that housed the sacred sword for which the temple is named. It looks like an exile from Athens. Preah Khan experienced a slow decline because the Khmer royalty stopped supporting it around the 15th century. As support from the royal family dwindled, it became difficult to maintain and use the complex. Despite this decline, certain sections of the site continued to be used for religious and cultural activities. As I mentioned earlier, the temple is still largely unrestored. Since 1991, the World Monuments Fund, WMF, has cared for Preah Khan. They have chosen to respect nature and ruins of the temple. Work was limited to making parts of the temple safe for visitors. When the temple was found, the jungle was literally growing right through the middle of it. Restoration workers, including the French archaeologist Maurice Glaise, had to decide in the late 1920s how much to restore and how much to keep. He wrote that the vegetation and large trees gave the temple a pleasing look and didn't want to destroy it. Therefore, the decision was made to make the site safe instead of restoring it. The green moss and mold were covering most of the walls in the inner part of this tropical temple. Hidden away in a chambered area adjacent to the central shrine
is a room that features a very special bas relief carving of what yesterday revered as one of Jayavarman VII's queens. To conclude, Preah Khan is much more than an ordinary temple. It is a fortified complex rich in history, culture, fauna, and flora. With its magnificent buildings, sculptures, and fascinating animals, you can't help but be awestruck by the sheer magnitude of this awe-inspiring temple. Preah Khan Temple will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on your soul.